Greetings and welcome to Feel Good Friday. I'm your host, Cameron McCaslin, here to talk about all the great things happening here in Nashville on this Friday afternoon. Today, our guest is John Ferguson, who a lot of people from NECAT will know. He helps service all of the things here at the studio. And we thought it'd be cool today. We've been back in this place for a couple months now. We've got all this great new equipment. We're doing all these cool things with the building. And I thought it'd be cool just to sit down with you and talk about some of the stuff that we have implemented since we've got back from the pandemic. So how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you very much for having me on this show. This is my first appearance on Feel Good Friday, which I'm excited to be here because it's been a long run. You guys have been doing this show for...
I think this is episode 23 or 24 at this point.
Yeah, it's a long-running show. It's a long history here at Feel Good Friday. So anyway, I'm excited to be here. So I'm excited to tell you about a lot of the new equipment that we've got. And sort of, you know, we've been sort of setting this all up. We realized we've got 8 different inputs going into the TriCaster, which is probably the most we've ever had. But it's good to be able to demonstrate all the stuff that we've got for the people at home who are kind of trying to learn about the new stuff. And we are going to try to hopefully get it all working and show you guys all the different stuff that's available.
Well, let's start here with this little guy, the PTZ camera, and tell us what this is and kind of what it does.
Okay. So PTZ, it stands for Pan, Tilt, Zoom, and basically allows you as the operator of the shoot to be able to control the pan, the tilt, and the zoom. And those are terms that we talk about in the class, and those are terms that you'll learn in the class. But it allows you to control the pan, tilt, and the zoom in the control room without a human operator controlling the camera.
So traditionally, you know, like you said, our control room, which I'm sure they can cut to there in the booth so you can kind of see, but if you ever come into the studio, there's the big studio and then there's the booth back there. You can see us all the way out in the glass in the back, and they're taking care of us. But, you know, for the longest time, you used to have someone back there switching the show.
Yeah.
You had to have a person basically working as a camera operator, and then you had to have, you know, people out here.
Right.
We've been able to kind of limit that, which has been great through the pandemic because it kind of gets people separated a little bit more, as well as, you know, just the idea of you don't need as much crew to actually put a show on. So show us a little bit about that and like how that works.
So, you know, shout out to Will and Sam in the control room right now operating, and you know, Will is doing the audio board and Sam is doing the TriCaster and switching. But in addition to them working in there, we also have the ability to manipulate some of the show out here. And so this is the iPad was a piece of equipment that we just recently added, and I don't think it's necessarily, you know, fulfilled its destiny as far as the ability of people to use it yet, but essentially gives you the ability to switch your camera or switch your cameras out here. So we're sitting in the studio, and I have the ability to choose what camera I want to go to. All right, maybe I want to go to a wide or two shot of the two of us. I'm going to just click this button, and now we're seeing the two of us on the two shot. All right, now I'm going to go to a shot of you. All right, now I'm going to shoot cam. Okay, now I'm on cam. All right, maybe I might want to go to a shot of me, a close-up of me. Okay, cool, now I'm on me. Maybe I'll go to this PTZ camera sitting on the table for absolutely no reason. All right, now it's on the PTZ camera. I've got all of that ability on this iPad using this web interface that is available for anybody who uses the studio to use. I'm going to cut back to a two-shot of us. So
I know you were telling me before we started the show that we could do this on a telephone at this point too, like actually run a set. Do you have your phone?
Yeah. So we also have the ability to install an app and then you use your app, your phone's camera as an additional camera on your shoot. So now Sam just cut to my phone, and so now I have the ability to use this as an additional input, an additional camera while you're shooting, while you're actually doing your show. So it really is helpful because then it gives you so many more options for your shoot. And also, like we talked about before this started, you can actually get up and start walking around. And now I can walk over here, you know, camera can walk with me. We can sort of have a conversation as we're walking around in the studio Whereas normally this type of thing would not even be possible. This type of technology would not even be something that anybody would be able to do without this new stuff. So it really does give us a lot of benefits as far as being able to do a lot.
And this seemingly like works all throughout the studio. So if let me go this way, and you can click your camera, and let's just walk up towards the front here.
Yeah, I'll just keep you on camera here.
Cool.
And so we are on Wi-Fi. So depending on the strength of the Wi-Fi signal, we may jump in and out of consciousness.
But that was one of the cool things is we did a big Wi-Fi upgrade during the pandemic and got everything in. So like, just so all this stuff would work. And like here through the studio, if you haven't been, you kind of we're kind of going backwards from the studio to the front door, but we've got all of this great artwork that set up down the hallway. We'll give you the quick tour too. If you're watching at home and you've never been, come by and see us, and we'll show you in person. But we've got our break room right here. A little bit messy today. We were shooting stuff in here last night, so there's still some stuff kind of laying around that we haven't hung back on the wall. Our edit suite back here where we teach people how to use Adobe Premiere and Sony Vegas. We're still getting all the stuff started on that, but if you're interested in doing that, you can call me up here at the studio or email me, Cameron@necatnetwork.org. And all the way up to the front. And it's just cool to see how this works, in real time. We're doing this live from a telephone. You can walk to any part of the studio, and this works pretty much in other spots too, as far as, you could use Skype or Zoom or Twitch or all the other different, platforms to come in, talk to people while you're in the studio, but also have them in another place entirely. So, for the longest time we're so proud to be like local television and Nashville television, but it's really cool now that like you can literally talk to anyone from anywhere in the world. So you can be right here and talk to someone that's out in California or down in Mexico or on the other side of the planet, in Switzerland or something. You can have those kind of shows now and have those kind of conversations, which I think is pretty neat. So let's head back towards the studio.
Yeah.
And
I'm getting messages on my phone while we're doing this. And
yeah.
My brothers are messaging me just family stuff. So one of the drawbacks of using your phone as a camera during a TV program. But we're heading back into the studio now, and we're going to sit back down and tell you about some other cool stuff we got. Stand by.
So yeah, that's a lot of fun though. So with all of this,
there we go.
like I said before, we're back. So it's really cool to me that like you can start, like at this place a couple years ago, and again you had to sign up, take the class. You come down here and you learn how to use a very traditional 3-camera television shoot kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we've kind of opened the whole world up now, where you don't have to get a guest to necessarily come down to the campus.
Right.
You could talk to them all over the place. You also, like say, don't need all those crew members, because you can, the way that I understand it is, even like from switching this, you can switch from anywhere in the building, but technically someone could be switching their show from their house while you're sitting here in the studio. They can connect that way.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could connect a lot of different ways, and that is one of the ways you could do it. The other way, which I think is really going to be helpful, and they're doing they're having some fun back in there in the control room, adding another layer of graphics to the show. So now we've got these, what they call double boxes.
Yeah.
And so we've got me in one box, Cameron in another box, and we've got the show logo, Feel Good Friday, as the logo in another part of the screen. So we're able to kind of add extra production value and extra kind of eye candy for the people who are watching at home. And so shout out to Sam for pulling that up. That's really cool as well. The other thing which I think is really, really helpful for people is you can pull in a computer desktop. And so I've got my laptop here. And so if you were to be doing a show kind of talking about a certain topic, like for example, today we're talking about NECAT, you can go to their website, scroll through their website, talk about, okay, well, what if you wanted to, go to their channel, check out their stations. We've got all of the different, anything that you'd be able to see on the NECAT website, you'd be able to pull up on air while you're doing your show, while you're recording. So you're still hearing my voice, but you're instead seeing the NECAT website at the same time. So it gives you a lot of options. It gives you a lot of flexibility as far as how you want to, present to your audience and how you want your audience to see your message and convey whatever message you've got. So it's just a great way to be able to do whatever people want to do.
Yeah.
It works great for if somebody wanted to pull up a YouTube video. Works great if somebody wanted to pull up an article, from the New York Times. Whatever they wanted to do to be able to kind of, just do their message, convey their message. We've got options for you.
And you can double box that too, right? So like if you could put John back in the double box and put the laptop on the other, we could probably pull that up on the screen.
Yeah, this will be a great test for Sam. See how we do.
There's me. Let's switch me with the.
We got. Oh, there it is.
So there it is. So he can talk and show the website
right.
at the same time.
So I'm scrolling on the double box there, and also I'm talking through it when a close up of me. So yeah, you're right. So that's another way you can kind of take care of the problem of people kind of trying to follow along with what you're doing. They're able to see your face and see the website you're talking about at the same time. It just goes a long way to keeping your viewers engaged and also being able to communicate a message to your audience.
Yeah. So one of the things that we've got going here at NECAT right now, we just added classes all the way till the end of the year. It's September of 2021,
right.
I think, at this point,
right.
whenever we're shooting this show.
Right.
But we've added classes for production every, at least once a month till the end of the year.
Yeah.
We've got a pre-production class coming up. We've got a green screen class coming up. We've got an audio class coming up. We're still working on the editing, like figuring out dates on that. But the idea behind all of this is we're getting people back in to train them how to make television. And I know we've got a class tomorrow that's coming in, and I think we've done 2 or 3. How many have we had since
we've done maybe 3, I think, at this point, yeah.
So we've got all these new producers that are coming on and making brand new shows, and we've got some of our legacy producers that have been here for years and years that are coming back in the studio. And I don't know, it's just good to see everybody's faces again. It's nice to see new content up on all 3, of the channels.
Yeah.
And I am really inspired by all of the work that people are doing and all the new ways this stuff is going to help people.
Yeah.
Put that together. So. I mean, what are you most excited about with all this stuff? What do you think is the coolest piece?
So it's interesting because Adam and I have done a few musical acts here that have come in and recorded music. And one of the other benefits, and we don't have this necessarily set up right now, or maybe, no, we don't. But, well, actually, let's try it. So I'm going to pull up an app on my, let's see if this works.
It's a brave man doing this on
live
TV.
Yeah, well, why not? Let's see if this works. Oh, well, this is not going to work. But anyway, there is an app. Well, I'll do it this way. There is an app that is connected to our audio board. Yeah, you want to use this?
Yeah, give me that. I'll give you a better shot.
So there's an app that's connected to our audio board, which our audio board is the X32, Behringer X32, and you have essentially all of the functionality of being right in front of the board. You've got it on this app. So as you are in the studio listening to the band's warm up, listen to the band's, get a mic check or whatever, you are able to adjust the levels to your liking from this room, which is a huge benefit. Anybody who has ever mixed a band to provide them with levels and also to provide levels for everybody who is listening in the room, having the ability to adjust levels from in here is a huge benefit. And so we've done it, Adam and I have done it a few times already, and so using this app to be able to do it, it provides such a benefit, and it allows you to, be able to both listen to the levels and also adjust them at the same time. And to be honest with you, for whatever reason, I find that the app interface is a little bit easier to navigate than even the physical board interface, which is interesting because I'm not really an audio mixer by trade, but the app is something that I can easily navigate, whereas the board sometimes takes me a second to kind of find where I need to go in it. So I was trying to pull up this screen and pull it up as an input, but I got a little bit too ambitious, which you would need another app to be able to show your screen, to capture your screen and put it on the TriCaster, but we don't have that installed because there's no reason to have this as an input on the TriCaster until just a second. So Other than that, this is I think my favorite, the thing that I think was a bonus. We weren't necessarily expecting this app to be available when we picked this board. It's a great board by itself, but this app I think just takes it to another level because it gives you, some accessibility to be able to control the stuff on the board without having to be physically next to the board when you're making the adjustments. And so that's one of my favorite things about it.
Yeah, cool. Switch
I'll
this
take
back.
this back
Yeah,
for you.
yeah, totally. A lot of hands moving. So
Yeah.
I think, on top of that, like, it feels like we made a lot of choices when it came to musicians, because I know, like, we bought a new drum kit.
Right. So now we have a house drum kit, which is something that we had never had before. And the reason why we picked that is because we had people who were refusing or not making the choice not to come into the studio because lugging all that gear across campus had become too much of a hassle for them, which I completely understand. We had some issues driving up on campus because of some new security rules with the campus where we are. And so we made the decision, all right, well, instead of having people drag their drum kit into the studio, let's buy a house drum kit and have it always here so that people don't need to worry about it. So we're still waiting for that first band to come in to use our drum kit, but it's here waiting for them as soon as they come in.
What else do we do on the audio upgrades? Because I know there was talk of Pro Tools and all kinds of other.
Yeah, so maybe I ought to get Adam here on speakerphone, but Adam made some adjustments to the wireless mics, added some additional wireless mics, which is great because if you have more than just 2 guests or 3 guests on the show, we've got the ability, I think we've got now up to 5 or 6 wireless mics that we have the ability to use simultaneously, which adds from the ability to have more guests on and actually have people have wireless mics on them. So the board in itself, you can go on and on about all the things the board can do as far as adding effects to each of the individual channel. We've got now the ability to do Pro Tools. We've got a Pro Tools system for mixing bands. And so Pro Tools, I think that speaks for itself as far as the capability of being able to record individual channels as opposed to recording one main mix. So for those of you who aren't familiar with that, when you are recording a band, you have an audio mixer, somebody who is very, very experienced and talented, mixing the channels so they decide which levels of which microphones from which instruments need to be set at a certain level to be able to provide the most optimal listening experience for the viewer or listener. However, sometimes that person doesn't always make the right choice based on their experience level or based on just what they were hearing at the time. So what Pro Tools allows you to do, the main thing that Pro Tools allows you to do, is be able to choose what those levels are after they've been recorded. So you record each individual channel separately, and then after days, months, years after it's done, you can decide, you know what, I think I actually like the guitar level a little bit higher than it was originally recorded. I'm just going to bring up that one instrument as opposed to the entire mix. So that is a huge change for anybody that's ever recorded a band in the studio. The ability to do that, just changes everything because then you're no longer married to whatever you have mixed in the studio. You instead have the ability to make adjustments after the fact and clean up a lot of the mistakes that you potentially have made while you were here in the studio.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I'm looking forward to the most is seeing more bands come in, more artists come in, and just make live music here, make music videos here. It's like NECAT's always been a space that's known for making television, not so much for making music.
Right.
But we do have the ability at this point, and probably I would imagine, one of the most cost-effective ways to record a live song in Nashville at this point, because it's a pretty expensive city.
I would think so. I think that we're probably right up there. Other than maybe in your own basement, this would probably be the second, other than recording in your own home studio. But even that requires you have to pay for your own utility costs and everything like that.
Yeah, and plus the equipment investment. I mean,
yeah.
And obviously musicians have a lot of gear.
Right.
It's like every musician I know is somewhat of a gearhead. They've got
right.
Some form of a box full of microphones and
right. Absolutely.
all that kind of stuff. But it is cool that people can come here and do that kind of stuff. And I really do hope that we see, like say, live music made, but more directors coming in and bringing bands in and just shooting music videos here, because I think we're set up for that in this space now with the green screen set up. It's like you could basically put things anywhere.
Well, the first letter of NECAT, Nashville. I mean, Nashville is the music city. If we're not able to provide a great, home and a great tool to be able to record music, then we are not doing our job properly. So I think that we are, especially in the last year, made a stronger emphasis to make sure that we are providing those tools for bands to be able to come in here. Because the last thing that anybody here is looking for is to limit the accessibility and the availability of being able to record music in the studio. We want to open it up and make it easier, make it more accessible for people who want to come in and record music in this space. Because I mean, it's a big space. It allows for a lot of flexibility as far as being able to spread out and make sure that you have enough place to put all the different band members and all different instruments. And also, it's got decent acoustics. It's got the ability, it's well insulated as far as not a lot of echo in this space. And again, I'm not an audio expert by any stretch, but it's not a horrible place to record music. I would assume, based on me just making that up right now.
So let me ask you this: so with all of these great new upgrades that we've just put in, and there's a lot of great, cool new gear. There's great new people here, kind of helping take care of our members and putting shows on at this point.
Right.
What do you see for the future? I mean, like, what is the next thing that you're hoping that we can do here to make the studio more accessible?
Well, you mentioned the people here, and I think that is the most important thing that we've done in the last year, and even the last 6 months, to be able to really be able to make sure that we are providing the best resources for the people coming in here. Is we've got 3 great employees that we just hired that I think are making a huge difference in the way people are shooting. Will, Sam, and Alex have incredible backgrounds as far as their audio abilities, and they have come in and done a great job. And I can't speak as enough about how great of a job they've done. And the guys in the booth, obviously.
Yeah. Cut to the booth. Show yourself.
Show the booth.
Say hello.
Cut to the booth. Cut to the booth. Let me see a shot of the booth. There we go. We got Sam and Will in there right now mixing this show for us. But they're here every single day, and they are doing a fantastic job. So I think that the addition of them, equipment aside, the heck with equipment, because in reality, if you don't have the people in here to be able to help out and make sure and provide a friendly face and a welcoming attitude for people coming in here, you can have all the equipment in the world, and it's not going to make any difference.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the reasons why we made sure we got great people. We got people with, very, very friendly, great attitudes, but also they have amazing technical ability. So the fact that we got those 3 people in here, I think that is a huge reason why we've had, the success we've had in the last month of being open, or 2 months of being open.
Yeah. So for everyone that's watching at home at this point and they want to get involved, if you're seeing all of this for the first time because you're watching channels 9, 10, or 19 here in Nashville, and you're like, hey, I want to make a TV show, or I want to come down and visit the studio, it's super easy to do. Just go to our website. It's necatnetwork.org.
Cut to the website.
We'll pull it up here and you can see it on your screen. But you can click that little button there that says Make TV. And whenever you click that, you can sign up for a class and basically get involved. It's super simple to do. We have 2 producer levels. Like, we have a technician membership at $50 that you take a class and you're able to kind of do all the different things that we're doing here in the studio. We also have a producer membership, and once you complete the producer, once you become a producer and complete 2 classes, basically, you can start booking the studio and making your own things. And we'll help you kind of put those pieces together and make all of that happen for you. So if you've got any questions, I'm always down here. It's easy to find me through email at Cameron@necatnetwork.org, or just hit us up on the website and kind of read up on it, or just give us a call here at the studio and just let us know you want to come by, and we'll walk you through the building and kind of show you all about it. But like I said, we've got classes at least once a month till the end of the year right now. We're always looking for new ways to serve the community and get people making TV here in town. And I just think that that's super exciting. So, John, I always try to wrap these shows up by talking about one thing that we feel good about on Friday. So just on a personal level, what's one thing that's making you feel good on this Friday afternoon?
Well, to be honest with you, I am very, very excited about the upcoming NFL season. So last night was the first game of the season.
Yep.
The Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are the Super Bowl champions, obviously. My team is the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
And they have a very bright future. They've got a great young core talent of players, and they have a great coach and general manager. And so we have a good team for the first time in a very, very long time. I've suffered through many, many years of disappointment and heartbreak with the Buffalo Bills, and I have very, very high hopes for this season, which, to be honest with you, probably will come crashing down on me and, just be another page in the history books of disappointing Buffalo Bills football. However, right now, because we have a clean slate and anything can happen in the season, I have very, very high hopes. So this Sunday is the first game of the season for the Bills and for a lot of other NFL teams. And so I will be glued to my TV watching this Sunday.
What's on your NFL Sunday menu? What do you eat?
Oh, that's a great question. I am trying to limit my the bad foods that I'm eating right now, only because I'm signed up for the Nashville Rock and Roll Marathon, which is a 26-mile run in November. And so in addition to enjoying football on Sundays, I also need to make sure I am practicing my running so that I can actually compete in a 26-mile run without collapsing and having my legs give out on me during the run. But trying to balance those two things is difficult because football sort of lends itself to indulging in good foods. But if I wasn't running in a race, I would probably be eating lots of pizza, lots of chicken wings, lots of beer, lots of dips of different varieties, and all that stuff. So if I was not having to worry about trying to maintain this level of fitness, I would probably be eating a lot of those foods.
So to bring this back into NECAT, if you want to start a sports talk show or a food,
I'd like to do a sports talk show.
Yeah, do a show where you either make food or eat food on camera. We can help you do that right here at NECAT. So visit us on the website at necatnetwork.org. John, any last things to tell us before we wrap this one up?
Well, I think that it's important to keep booking the studio. I think that anytime you have any questions, technically. Email pegstudio@nashville.gov. I think that is a great way to contact with any of the people that are working from the technical point of view, from anybody from the Metro side. Pegstudio@nashville.gov is a great way to kind of contact anybody from my side, and we'll get your question answered, or we'll direct you to the right person. But I think that's the best thing we can say as far as contacting anybody on the Metro side.
Very cool. So again, that's about all the time that we have here at the NECAT studio for Feel Good Friday. Again, I think this is episode 23, so
okay.
It was really cool to have you on for this one, John. And honestly, technically, I think this is the second episode back in the studio because we had one, but even though we were in the studio, we were still Zoom calling out from like my office at that point. So it's good to be back in this space.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
for everyone watching at home, again, if you wanted to find out more about what we do here at the PEG Studio and the NECAT Network, visit us at necatnetwork.org. We hope you're all having a wonderful Feel Good Friday, and we'll see you next time.